Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with SBR hockey writer Dana Lane. We're going to take a look at the NHL card for Tuesday, April 5th. Dana Lane, thanks for being with us. It's the end of the regular season. We got a lot of interesting handicapping situations and 11 games on the card tonight. So let's just jump right into it. The first game I want to ask about is Florida at Montreal. Now, Florida, obviously, great team. Still looking for the number 2 seed, but they have a big lead on Tampa Bay, so they're probably going to get it, right? And Florida won all 3 meetings against Montreal this year, but Montreal had a big lead recently in their last game. And my sense is that, and Florida's on a back-to-back, that Montreal here would be the play. They opened at plus 129. Now it's down to plus 118 or 119 are the best lines market-wide. What do you think of Montreal as a home dog against Florida?
Yeah, it certainly would be Florida or nothing for me. And I agree with you, Pete. I mean, I could see certainly where you're coming from, but I'm just not a fan of Mike Condon yet, although he has played better lately. This line opened up at 45, and as you said, it is down in favor of the Florida Panthers. And I've seen the Panthers feast on Eastern teams all year to 23-9 against Eastern teams. And this would certainly be a spot where I'd take Florida or nothing.
Okay, then let me talk to you about another game that sure a lot of people are wondering about, Pittsburgh at Ottawa, right? Pittsburgh obviously playing just awesome, white hot, and Ottawa playing for nothing out of the playoffs, but we've seen them recently, kind of be dangerous as a big underdog. Obviously, Pittsburgh is an awesome team, but they're a huge favorite here. Not massive, well, they are massive as a road favorite, right? It's like minus 167 at Heritage, up to minus 185 at SIA. Is that too big of a road favorite line for Pitt? What do you think?
Well, if you got to make a choice in this, and one of the trends has been to take the teams that are not supposed to win. We saw that with Vancouver the other night. So in this situation, even though the line's a lot higher than I would probably go to the window to bet personally, I'm going to take a chance with Ottawa plus 1.5 at minus 185. And they've had a propensity for coming back after having a poor offensive showing the night before. And I think plus 1.5 minus 85 is the side I'm on.
All right, a bunch of other games with massive lines, massive home favorites. We'll see what you have to say about them. Dana Lane, the first one, Carolina-Boston. Carolina got popped by Columbus in their last game. We covered that game in our last video, and I said that I like Carolina in that one, and that was a loser for me. They're now out of the playoffs. Boston, they're still in it, and they definitely need wins. So obviously the side here you would want to lean towards is Boston, but then you look at the line, minus 200, minus 210. Is that too big of a favorite line for Boston?
It's way too big, especially with a team that's not even 500 on their home ice against a team that they have struggled against. Cam Ward's going to start in goal for the Hurricane tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that number and bring it down a little bit. We're going to go under the 1.5 in the first period. It's minus 129, which are getting good value at as it opened up at 45. And right now, until Boston can win on a consistent basis in the Garden, I don't want anything to do with them straight up.
Okay, makes sense. And then another game with a massive home favorite line that I'm thinking about an under with is Arizona at Chicago. Arizona on a back-to-back. But, would I really want to take Chicago at this huge line, minus 250, minus 260? I guess in the end, probably not. But, Chicago just looking to play out the string, basically stay healthy for the playoffs. Is there any value on a side with that one? And what do you think of maybe a shot with the under 5.5 minus 125 at Heritage?
Same situation in this, Pete. I'm looking at Arizona plus the 1.5 in this. You're getting minus $1.35, which is a fair price. And I love getting these goals and a half because if you look at over the course of the season, teams that are minus 1.5 is a losing proposition. And look, I mean, against St. Louis, Arizona basically outplayed them for a period and a half. I thought they were the better team on the road at Scottrade. So I'm going to take Arizona tonight again. Plus 1.5 minus $1.35.
Okay, sounds good. And no opinion on the total?
No opinion on the total. I just, some of these games, as it gets down to it, especially when you have Darling in goal against Domingue, 2 goaltenders that I really don't trust. We've seen great things out of both, so you never know which goaltender you're going to get.
Right. Okay, fair enough. And then Winnipeg at Anaheim. Anaheim is at home. They're a huge favorite, but they've beaten Winnipeg 14 games in a row. So, if they should be expected to win 90% of their games against Anaheim, then maybe, against Winnipeg, then maybe Anaheim at minus 230, 240 does have value. What's your take on Winnipeg, Anaheim?
Another situation where I'm going to go take the 1.5 minus $1.50. I love how the first defensive pairing for Winnipeg is playing with Buffalo and Trouba. I think their top line is also playing well, and a lot of these teams infuse their teams with these young kids at the end of the year, and they're playing tremendous hockey and more inspired hockey. We're going to go ahead with the 1.5 minus $1.50, which is a little high, but I feel pretty confident laying that.
Okay, sounds good. And then let's talk about the Islanders and Washington. You know, Washington looking ahead to the playoffs, obviously they've been kind of sluggish in their past 6 games, especially on offense. You know, they're a big favorite against the Islanders, not quite in the minus 200 range though, like minus 180, minus 190. You know, Thomas Greiss is slated to be back on the ice for the Islanders though on a back-to-back. What's your take on the Islanders and Washington?
Yeah, it's real high in this one, but I don't want anything to do with the Islanders. I've seen, obviously we've seen them play well, but there's not enough speed for me against teams with a lot of speed. And we've seen when I take the Islanders and compare them to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and there's no comparison. There's 2 teams with 2 different speed differences, and I think you get the same thing in this situation. And of course, Holtby can tie Brodeur tonight with a victory. It's going to be definitely Washington or nothing for me. Washington is 43-17 in their last 50 games, so there's no reason to go against that trend.
Okay, and then let's talk about the Kings and Calgary. The Kings are on a back-to-back. They lost yesterday as a minus 200 road favorite at Vancouver. Now here they are on a back-to-back again as a big road favorite, minus 160, minus 170, sort of market wide. And you know what to think about Calgary? They're rested. They're off of that big road win at Edmonton, which was another loser that I had. I liked Edmonton in that one. And you know the Kings beat Calgary 3-zip as a massive home favorite the last time they played a few games ago. Tough to like them though here as you know, another road favorite after having lost yesterday in the same vein, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough too, but I certainly am not going to, you know, cross my fingers that Calgary is going to play better. I don't like Ortillo in goal, and Enroth is going to start tonight for the Los Angeles Kings, but minus $1.50 I think is a fair price. I think he can even get better than that if you shop around. But you know, here's a Kings team that's lost 2 straight. They've had numerous opportunities to overtake Anaheim in the Pacific. And here's another cupcake that they should beat to enable themselves to get into the first place. But there's nothing in me that wants to take Calgary in this situation.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a tough one, and I'll be surprised if you think there's a big edge on this one any which way. Maybe you know what I'm about to ask you about. San Jose and Minnesota, right? Minnesota had the huge surge of wins to put them on the brink of clinching the playoff spot, but then they lost 3 in a row, and you know, now they're back home looking to finally clinch a playoff spot. San Jose, though, a great team on the road, not the kind of team you want to bet against when they're on the road, and it's a competitive line about minus 110 on each side. Is this a complete pass?
No, but I am going to take the 1.5 under in the first period.
Okay.
I don't like the way that the Wild's power play has been playing as of late, and coincidentally, that's when the power play started to collapse. That's when their winning streak stopped. And this is a San Jose team, oddly enough, that probably would rather finish in 3rd in the Pacific Division so they could go on the road to Anaheim rather than playing the SAP, where they've been pretty ineffective all year.
All right, well, we touched on 8 interesting games, 3 other games on the card. Let me know if you have anything about any of them. Buffalo at New Jersey, Tampa Bay at the Rangers, and Colorado at Nashville.
Yeah, in the Buffalo game, I like the under in this. This is one of the few times where you've actually seen the actual total move from 4.5 to 5 rather than just moving the money lines. I liked it under at 4.5, and I certainly like it at under at 5. And, you know, Buffalo is just one of these organizations that I just will never get behind financially. I think they're still trying to figure things out. They don't look consistent enough on an offensive basis. And one of the things I like to see is, you know, coming out of your own zone, can you make 3 straight passes? Can you make some tape-to-tape passes to get into the offensive zone? And Buffalo's just not one of those teams, especially in the first period, that seems to be ready to go. And that's because you infuse a lot of kids into the lineup. Everybody's still trying to figure things out. But I love that under in that game, under 5, and I think it's at minus 110 at this point.
Yep, I was thinking that way as well. I have under here, question mark, as as my own note. Buffalo, obviously, Ryan O'Reilly is out, and obviously New Jersey can't really score at all. Okay, interesting card. A lot of games on the slate tonight. Thanks so much for your thoughts on all these games, Dana Lane.
Sure, Pete. I appreciate your time. Best of luck to you.